So as someone who is a novice in terms of knowing Carl Jung and a lot of his work, like I read a lot of his stuff, but I feel like I'm not even close to knowing half of it, honestly. Because there's a lot of terminology, right? There's a lot of abstract concepts to really understand. And I honestly don't think I'll ever really understand it in its entirety. But I try my best to think of these ideas. And one time I was doing a personality test, and it came up with the result of INTJ. So I was like, you know what? Because I'm the thorough type, I'm going to do it again. And so I did it again, and I did it, I think, a couple weeks later, and I kept getting the same result. And so when I read the description of an INTJ, oh my God, it's crazy how accurate it was. It was mind baffling. And I was like, this has to be some Carl Jung stuff, like archetype stuff. And lo and behold, the person who created it was heavily influenced by Carl Jung. And see, when you try to think of an archetype, that's what I think of. You think of, like, for example, an INTJ individual, right? So you might have certain characteristics, certain ambitions as a result of that personality trait. But then you also have your personal experiences, the compounded memories, the traumas, the external things that influence you individually because it's your own personal individual perspective. And that creates the individual, the unique individual. And I like to think of it as like bees. You know how bees have a certain role to play? And that's what we are. We're bees and we have certain roles. Um, and I just think that society tends to push certain bees in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? So for example, if I'm an INTJ and I love entrepreneurship, right? I love being independent, being my own kind of like individual, right? And it has, it probably has a lot to do with, growing up in foster care. But I think in school, in society, I was told, no, don't go that right. Don't you gotta work your accounting job, man. And so, I got my degrees in accounting and I started doing accounting and I never really felt fulfilled. It didn't feel right, right? And I think it clashed with the individualistic nature that's within me. And so once I started focusing on entrepreneurship again, I felt good again, despite making much less. Because when you start off as an entrepreneur, you don't make that much, right? I mean, unless you're lucky, right? But yeah, man, I really feel that archetypes and a lot of this Carl Jung stuff really plays a big role in trying to figure out who you are and um, how you can contribute to society in a way that you feel fulfilled. Um, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you next week. Take care.